Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Top Flight Podcast, a very special episode. I'm here with Diego Fagundez, MLS Cup champion, former Austin FC midfielder. Mate, you're a big believer in destiny. I am too. This conversation is long overdue. I'm very happy that it finally is taking place. Maybe it just had to happen right now. But Diego, welcome to the show.
No, I appreciate it. And like I think you said, I think it should have happened a while ago, but hey, we're here now and it's meant to be.
The timeline favored us right now. I mean, you're an MLS Cup champion, and we couldn't be more happier for you. I mean, how does that feel?
To be honest, it's amazing. I've been telling everybody, 13 years playing professionally, and finally being able to win one is something incredible. And like I tell people, you can have all the records, all numbers and everything, but if you don't win one, what does it really mean, you know? So I'm very excited and very grateful for it.
That's exactly what we're going with in this podcast, the conversation. Now, before we get into more details, I want to introduce my G, Alex Sanabria. What a massive episode we have here. I mean, brother, we have an MLS Cup champion in the studio. How are you doing?
I'm excited. I'm excited precisely because of that. I mean, MLS champion right here. We're Austin TV, like you said, it's long overdue. The growth that we've had with the club, following the club, has been since day zero. So obviously, since you came to Austin as one of the main players since the beginning, and having you today here with us, sadly not with us in FC, but seeing you as a champion, it's good to have you here.
No, I appreciate it.
We get to see him every now and then whenever Austin FC plays versus the LA Galaxy, right? But
And you guys are booing me.
Hey, that's No, but I do want to send a shout out to the folks on the Patreon and on the Discord. We got some questions from them here at the end of the show. A little bit of a secret that we've been keeping in our back pocket. Only the Patreon and Discord members knew that we were going to have Fagundez on the podcast. So I'm very excited for the questions that they have for us here at the end. But gentlemen, let's get started off with some recent news. You're here in Austin, mate. You have working with Sonny Guadarrama, the SGA Academy. I mean, what inspired you to work with him, with that camp? And if you can tell us a little bit about what y'all are doing.
Well, with Sonny, I think it all started just like before the season starts. We trained with them, a bunch of the guys, not just myself. And we were doing it one time. And one day they came up to me and said, hey, I think we should do a camp here in Austin. It would be amazing for the kids. It grows SGA. And at the same time, we're making money for the kids to be able to go to school there. So, so it's a big kind of bonus in both ways, and for me it's giving back to the community,
of course.
So I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we did it last year, and last year boomed, and to be honest, it was amazing, like how many people showed up and everything. But it was only a one-day thing, and then this year we're like, hey, let's run it again, let's do it. And we're actually doing 2 days, 3 camps. So yesterday was 2 days, and today is 1. It's just amazing just to see the kids learn like techniques or different things about soccer. Like when they're with me, they do a lot of shooting and finishing and stuff. And when they're with Sonny, they work on their footwork and stuff inside. But just, I think the work that Sonny's doing at SGA is just amazing, with the school and everything. So I always encourage people, like, check them out, because I know if my sons were older and my daughter, I would definitely put them in something like that, because they're playing soccer and going to school at the same place. So
now we know that your dad played, right? You also play. You're an MLS Cup champion. Your kids, do you want them to follow in your footsteps?
It would be nice, but
pro footballers?
At the same time, like, I want them to go on their own and decide what they want to do. Yeah. The good thing is about my son now, he's so obsessed with soccer that, like, that's all he wants to do. He wakes up, puts on a jersey, goes to
dream
bed.
Right
like,
there.
That's his dream now. Like, and I don't think he realizes, like, I bring him in the locker room and he's hanging out with Ricky, he's hanging out with Marco Royce, and, like, to him is just another player. But like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, how big this player was and how big he still is. It's kind of huge.
I agree.
Like, I took a picture and it's Marco Royce drinking mate and my son's playing Italian. They're both in my locker, and it's like, wow, that's like, later on, I think that's going to hit him if he keeps pursuing soccer more.
That's going to make a crazy Throwback Thursday post one day.
Sunday.
Drinking mate with Marco Royce.
And you said it yourself, like we see in the Instagram stories that you're with them, where like practicing shots and whatnot, and we can see you like telling them, it goes like this, goes like that, kind of fun. But since you've been here or in the world of soccer since a very young age, right? What's your advice to them when it comes to what it takes to be a pro player, to reach that pro level?
What it takes, I think the main thing, I think it comes from your parents, the taking you everywhere. Because I know a lot of good players and a lot of good friends that played soccer, and I think the one thing they didn't have was the support from their parents to take them everywhere. And I can say, like, my parents, they would drive me 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever it is, to tournaments, to games. And I think that's where it first starts. And then after that, it's basically up to you. I have it tattooed on me and on my hats and stuff. And we all have a dream, and it could be anything. It could be professional soccer player, streamer, doctor, whatever it is. And then once you dream it, you have to believe it. You have to believe in yourself, believe that you wanna get there, and people around you have to believe that you can do it. And then the last thing is, finally, when you get there, you have to say, you know what, have I made it? Have I achieved it? And to this day, I think I can say, yeah, I had the dream, I believed in myself, and I actually achieved it. But now, what's the next goal? Now I need to dream something else, and then and it's a cycle, and it never stops. And that's the one thing I always tell kids, like, don't first start dreaming, then believe in yourself. Don't let people tell you you can't do something because of your height, because how small you are. It does not matter. You can go out there and just be you.
I'm ready to run through a wall, bro. I'm ready to run through a wall, dog. I'm ready.
But I have it tattooed, and it's on my hats and stuff. Like, that's what I just.
And
it's
what is
kind
your
of
next
crazy.
goal?
My next goal is.
I have a follow-up question to that.
Two-peat.
Well, hopefully 2025 this year is get to the 80-80 mark with goals and assists, which I'm not too far away, but that's just a small goal that I have. But I don't know. I don't have like hopefully win another cup someday again.
Yeah.
But I think my next goal is try to make it to the All-Star game, and it would be cool if it would be this year, because then it would be in Austin.
We'll
you know,
be here, right?
but I think playing all these years and not making it to an All-Star game is kind of a. It's kind
of like a hunch. Yeah.
Like,
Something you want to check
winning
off.
it was there, and now I won it. So
Yeah.
now it's like, can I get to the All-Star game? That would be.
I want to ask you, the work that you're doing with the youth, you're obviously playing soccer is not there forever. One day, you have to think about that next step. Seems like you're already thinking about that. Have you ever thought about maybe, hey, how would it be if I went into coaching one day? Has that ever crossed your mind?
No, I already said I don't want to be a coach.
Okay.
I'd rather do camps and teach kids how to do stuff. But you can never say no. It might be an opportunity, maybe as an assistant or something, but nothing that I have something in plan. Coaching is not for everybody, and I don't know if I have the voice to be able to do that. I just enjoy playing with the kids and like teaching them little things, but most of the times I go and fool around with them and play around with kicking the ball with them. So as a coach, I don't know if I could be that person.
There's some players that kind of just they kind of just, or I don't know, they seem like they're destined to be a coach, like Hector Jimenez here with Austin. He just has that
has that feeling
that coaching vibe or something like that. He might pop up somewhere in the USL or in the MLS. I don't know, as like an assistant or something, but I mean, we know that Austin didn't pick him up. They let him go, but Hector is just one of those players that to me strikes me like he could be a coach too.
No, for sure.
He definitely has that.
Right?
That
Kinda
vibe.
does.
He does.
I want to talk about a little bit about your time at Austin FC. I mean, obviously that's a major topic for us, right? We've covered the team since they first kicked the ball. I mean, we were there when you scored that first goal. It hurt whenever you left Austin FC. It was a major shock. But looking back, how would you describe your time at Austin FC?
No, I think when I look at my time in Austin, it was amazing. Sure, there was ups and downs, but there's ups and downs everywhere. I think you go from the first year where we didn't have a 9 all year, and we were trying to switch positions everywhere.
Low-key still don't. Low-key still don't.
But no, I think 2021 was definitely we knew it was going to be one of those years where it was going to be a struggle, but we knew we were a new team, and there was amazing moments. I remember just being in Colorado, scoring that first goal, but then also coming home and being able to score home when John Gallagher, the stadium just blew up. And it was kind of crazy to think that we blew some teams out. Like Portland, I don't know if we beat them twice or 3 times in that year. It's just, you just start thinking, and it's like, okay, we have potential. And it doesn't go your way. And then 2022 comes, and what a year!
What a high that was! Yeah, that was crazy.
And it ended short, but hey, I think we all knew we could have gone further if we had a better game.
I want to ask you about that game in the 2022 Western Conference Final. Because you came from beating Dallas, beating RSL in the playoffs. Then you get to play against LAFC, that Western Conference final, Austin FC. Second year in history. But then the game obviously doesn't go as expected. What went wrong that game?
I think from the beginning, like just thinking about, we beat LAFC twice that year. Yeah. Like the third time is gonna be hard, and that third time was, of course, the Western Conference final. So like, I wouldn't say what went wrong. I don't know. I think them playing at home actually had a big say, especially now playing in LA, the final with Galaxy. It's incredible. It's hard to play. It's because, like I said, you have 11 players, but the fans are with you the whole time. They're cheering you on. And when you go to a final and you're an away team, you don't have the whole stadium cheering on you. You have a supporting section. And to be honest, I remember how loud you guys were, but it's not the same. It's just, you get goosebumps and stuff. So I think that has to do a part of it. But at the end of the day, like, I remember referees weren't going our way, calls weren't going our way, and then I don't remember exactly the goals, but it's just one of those games. As soon as one thing goes wrong, just
Stuver had a game that day too. He saved at least 4 or 5 chances. That was a
and
tough
I do
game.
remember we I think when it was 2-1 or whatever, we had the penalty that didn't call on me. And
actually it was minute 69. It was right at the edge of the box. There's contact.
There's contact.
There's contact. The referee goes to VAR, comes back, doesn't award it. I mean, I was there. Brian was there. We have different stories because he was at the field level. I was with the fans, and we both can confirm what you say about that stadium, the energy, the atmosphere, how it was rocking. I mean, any chant that we got out, their fans swallowed us with El Chicho. I mean, Chicho was hot that season too. But if that penalty gets called, let's say Drussy's the PK taker of that moment, he converts it. Game changes at
game
2-1.
changes, yeah.
Game changes 100%. It's just maybe it just wasn't meant to be because. Later on, Fagundez went on to win it with the Galaxy. Later, it's just the way things work.
And the way I look at it is, I think when we win at home, and then LAFC is playing LA Galaxy, minute 90th, I think they scored to qualify. If not, they would have gone to overtime, and then we could have hosted at home. So, like I said, I think if you look at it, it could have gone either way. We either hosted at home and you never know what could have happened, or we go away and it wasn't our time to win it.
I have here 95 appearances, 17 goals, 18 assists. You played a key role in many memorable moments for Austin FC. But I want to ask you, what performance or goal stands out as your favorite?
My favorite, I think, was the LAFC actually at home.
I called it. Oh, let's go.
I think it all started because of that fight that happened in the thing and getting a little thrown off guard by Chicho, and just after that we turned it up. And I remember, I think I had a goal and 2 assists, and
you did have a goal and 2 assists.
I said, you know what, this is not happening at home. And I just, one of those games that you can say I stepped up and I wanted it.
I was telling the guys as I was prepping for this pod, I was going through all the stats that you had with this team and all the highlights, that we can talk about that from your time here. And I feel like everybody always gravitates to that first ever goal, right? And as important as that goal was and how symbolic it was, because it was scored in minute 59. 5 + 9 is 14, right? I know that might mean something right there. It was a very symbolic goal, mate. But to me, what I think of when somebody brings up Diego is that game against LAFC, because that was Gareth Bale's first start for LAFC. And you had a free kick goal, 2 assists. Maxi had a header. He never scores headers.
Never.
So that was just a statement from Austin FC that season. But unfortunately, when it mattered the most, they kind of just swallowed us whole, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we beat them at home. What, 4-1, I think? Or
4-1.
4-1. It was 4-1. And then I remember we go away and we went 2-1 because I still have the game ball for that game. And then I just, it's one of those that where you look back at it, you're like, can you beat a team 3 times? If you do, it's kind of crazy. But it just, I don't think it was meant to be for us that day.
They ended up winning the whole thing anyways.
They did, that's true.
They ended up winning the whole thing. But that was one hell of a team too. They had assembled the freaking Thanos stones in that one, man. that Bale last minute header, I mean, some stuff just happens in a game of football. It's like, dude, it's just meant to be. It's just meant to be. Anything, Alex?
In your interview with Caleb, you mentioned that in 2023, after coming back from that 2022 season, that was amazing. A lot of things were different, right? Especially you mentioned the back five, the tactics. Was there anything else different? Because if we think about it, we lost Ruben, who was, very. He was hurt after the LAFC defeat, but he had to leave for family reasons, right? We lose Felipe, who was a personality on the locker room. Was there anything else besides tactics and not adjusting to the team that happened that made 2023 not that great?
No, I think I like I said it best with Caleb. We were having the interview and also talking because he's a friend of mine. So it was one of those things that we're at Discord and we're just chatting it up. And he asked me that question, and what I basically said was, look, when you go from a team 2022 where we were doing so well, everybody knew exactly what we were doing, and then you come in and things change. It just, I don't think a lot of players were happy. But like I said it to everybody. It's not that the tactics didn't work or it just wasn't right. Not one player can say, hey, I performed, I did well. So I don't think I see comments, I see people blaming, oh, it's Josh's fault, oh, it's players' fault. At the end of the day, it's everybody's fault. It's not one person or it's not the other. Tactics don't work. Okay, the coaching maybe is bad, but at the same time, us as players have to have a responsibility to go out there and perform. And I can guarantee there was not one player that you can say, hey, you know what, hands up, and they performed. I think it was everybody needed to take a blame. And at the end of the day, I think I got the most blame because that's why they decided that I maybe didn't fit the system and that they needed to let go of me. And look, there's no grudge against it. There's nothing bad against it. Like I always said, I want to leave the doors in the right way. And, okay, they left me like that, and there's nothing against it. Nothing bad. I'll move on. And maybe it was meant to be because at the end of the day, playing so many years of my career and not winning it and then getting traded to a team and being able to win it with them is something amazing.
You've mentioned that you want to leave the doors open and that, you're aiming for MLS All-Stars game that's going to be here in Austin. Do you see yourself coming back to Austin FC in the future?
I'm hoping someday, maybe retire here, either here or New England. That's probably the goal. Maybe even before retiring, because hopefully, like in the next 2-3 years, if I can come back, I would love it. I always said Austin's amazing. It's where I have my house is here, my parents here, my family, and I don't know. I just feel very home here, and that's why I keep coming back. I try to do camps here. And it's not just that. I like the community, the people, and a lot of friends here. So if I can come back, why not? My doors are always open. Like I said, if I can come here, I will. And if not, if it's not meant to be, then once I am done playing, I'll still be here. So
you heard it here. You heard it here. I want to ask you. I did read somewhere where you said that you wanted to win a cup with Austin FC. I mean, we got to celebrate Copa Tejas in the parking lot. Folks can come at that cup, can have their opinion about Copa Tejas. I get it, 100%. But you say that you want to return. You leave the door open to Austin FC. The future, nobody knows what can happen. But do you feel like, maybe you have maybe unfinished business in Austin?
Yeah, I feel that way. Just because of that 2022 year where we don't win it. I remember just sitting on the grass and bawling out because it was one of those years where you think everything was going the right way, and then suddenly one game you're out and everything's over. Yeah. And it's hopefully someday I can come back, maybe finish more business here, and give it my all like I've always been. I think another thing that I see people just looking at some of the negative comments and stuff that when I got traded, oh yeah, he doesn't play a lot. But what people don't see is, sure, I don't have a lot of goals or a lot of assists, but the amount of work that someone does doesn't classify what kind of player you are or how good of a player you are, because at the end of the day, you have players that want to win, and you have players that want to score, and you have players that you want to assist. And I don't care about goals or assists. I just want to win, and that's my mindset. I don't care if, and my parents can tell you, like, for me, if a game's 1-0, let's close this game out. I don't have to attack. Let me just defend and give it my all.
You did that in the MLS Cup final. You took the ball to the corner, and when the final whistle blew, you had the ball in your hands. What'd you do with the ball? You kicked it to the stands?
I kicked it
You
so
kicked it to the
far.
stands?
So
I saw that.
it's funny that you say that. So Western Conference final, I got the last kick. MLS Cup final, I got the last kick. The two last kicks, actually, because first the whistle blew, and then it was the refs like, no, it was offsides. Then we kept playing on.
yeah.
And at that moment, I got to say, I know 99% of players, when I got that ball at the end, they would go to goal. But I said, you know
100%.
what? We're winning this. I don't care about that. And I went straight to the corner, and we kept it with Marco a little bit.
I was surprised, I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching that game live and I saw that you took the ball to the corner, and I had that same thought. I was like, how many other players would have tried to dart it to goal and try to get that 3-1 would have been done deal. Headlines would have been theirs maybe or whatnot. But here you are taking the ball to the corner and, kind of showing what you just said right now, how you're more worried about the final result, I think that's pretty neat. But I do want to ask you, when you got traded, folks kept bringing up the contract, and not even just fans out there. We saw in a press conference, Josh Wolf clearly brings up the contract, how some players weren't living up to the new contracts, and just name drops you, right? Did you ever feel like you were maybe treated unfairly? You clearly earned that deal. You earned it on the field. You think that maybe some of the criticism was unfair towards you?
It's a tough one, and if you want me to tell you the truth, yeah, of course. I feel like I was targeted because, like I said, when players aren't performing, you can't just go at one player. But it's easy to just blame one person.
Yeah.
It's easy to say, "Oh, you're not fit. Oh, your contract. Oh, you're getting overpaid. Oh, you're not scoring." It's easy to say that, and that's where I kind of, when I said the interview, I said, people need to take responsibility, accountability on themselves. And like, I didn't just say the coaching staff. I also mentioned players in that. Like, we all had to step up. It wasn't just a one thing. But I did feel like I was targeted in that area, because you could have easily said other people's names, but no, my name would kept bringing up. And like, at the end of the day, if they didn't think that I was worth that, why give me that contract earlier?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
and to this day, I know I gave it my all. I sweat everything out. I gave everything when I stepped on the field, and that's something that I'm very proud of. So at the end of the day, people can have their thought about my contracts and how much I make and this and that. But I thought in my mind that I deserved what I got.
100%. Alex?
Well, no, I just want to now jump a little bit to move from Austin to everything that you've done, because you came from New England in the Northeast, then you came here to Austin, to Central Texas, then you went to the West Coast, right? And it's all different environments too. It's not just East Coast, Central, West Coast. It's also a established club like New England, brand new club like Austin, and one of the most historic clubs in MLS like LA. What are the difference that you can tell? It's a highlight for you how different it is in the culture of soccer between those three clubs.
It's kind of crazy, like you said, because when I was in New England for 10 years, before I signed pro, I want to say they lost 4 finals, maybe, or 4. Yeah, I think it was 4 or 5, something like that.
With Stevie Nicol, we were just talking about that. Stevie Nicol.
So my first coach was Stevie Nicol, and
that's crazy.
This guy was insane on the
Yes,
field.
I could tell, brother.
Just crazy, but like, as a person, unbelievable. Like,
he's on the ESPN FC podcast.
Yeah,
I
I
listen
see
to it
him
all the time.
He's such a nice guy, and like, he knows soccer. And like, when I was there, it was him and Paul, and I had a blast with them, especially me being 15, 16 years old. Them being able to bring me up and actually give me the opportunity, it was something huge. But you go from there. So right before I got there, they were winning finals or losing the finals and stuff. And then I get there, and we have 2-3 years that it was bad. We weren't making playoffs. And so then after that, 2014 comes, and we make it to the final. I don't even want to say it, but it was kind of a bad already from before we even got to the final. It was already bad. Like our flights, hotels, like everything was off. Everything was off. Like, and my parents can even like tell you how bad it was. Like I was getting a call at 6 in the morning here in L.A. because they were flying from Boston and the flights weren't ready or something like that. So.
Those are the last things a player wants to worry about in a big game,
especially in a big game. Yeah. And so I think just with that, but like I think one of the things that you said is they've already known about how many finals they've lost, and I think they wanted to compete in more finals, and it just wasn't there. So once I left, of course, they win Supporter Shield. So
yeah,
okay.
It
was kind of it hit me a little bit, being there for 10 years, not winning anything, and then, well, I won the conference, so, but not winning anything besides that conference kind of hurt, and of course I came to Austin, and I'm like, oh, they won the Supporter Shield, what's going on, So it was kind of one of those, but I think the one thing that I didn't enjoy after I left was that I was one game away from being the player with the most games played in New England history. And they gave me a contract, and they're like, there was 7 games left, and they gave me a contract with my parents, and they said, this is what we want to offer you, and if you don't sign it, you don't play. And I said, no, this is not what I'm doing. I'm not going to sign this, and I didn't play. I wasn't able to beat the record, and I think that's why destiny. I come to Austin, and I was able to score the first goal in the franchise that now no one can take away from me, so...
I think everybody knows it already, how you had a conversation with your father and you were saying, hey, you know where I would want to go? Austin. 3 days later, Reina calls you. He's not here anymore, but Reina calls you up. This is what we want from you. Come down here to Austin, and, the rest is history.
It's kind of crazy to go from, like, being at the lake, getting that, like, just talking randomly, and where do you want to go? And I was like, it would be nice to go to Austin and look where everything happened. And 3 days later, I got the call. I was here, and I loved it.
You even said when you got the news about the Austin trade, you sat there moments later, you thought about it, you were like, if there's anybody anywhere that I would want to go, it's to the Galaxy.
Well, I think any player would tell you the same thing. Like you said, they're
massive.
They're a massive team. Yeah. They're a team that should be in the playoffs every year, no matter what. And when you look at how many cups they had 5, and now we have 6, but you start thinking, you're like, all right, what team do I really want to go to if I got traded? Yeah. Well, it would have to be the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So
I think they were the first MLS team that I ever was exposed to as like a kid. They're the MLS team for so long. I mean, with the David Beckham move, all the other historic players that they've had there. I mean, you added a piece to history. You know what I'm saying? Like, you put your grain of sand into this huge MLS organization that is the Galaxy. You know what I'm saying? And 6 MLS trophies. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take for another team to get there. You know what I'm saying?
But if you think about it, they've been, since 96?
Yeah, I was going to say. So
they have quite a bit of time. So, like, you have to I think the way to, like, basically do it is, okay, you have to give teams at least, 21? No, what is it? Whatever, 19 to 20 30 years for them to be established and say, okay, in 20 years, what can you win? And then at that point, you can say how good they are because of where the Galaxy has done. I think that's the best way to describe.
Before talking a little bit more about your arrival to LA and winning the 2024 MLS Cup, I wanted to ask just real quick: any favorite teammates that you had in Austin?
Yeah, of course. Well, Drusi was one of them. Danny Pereira
and Danny. Everybody loves Danny, bro.
Basically, the group that we always have: Rigoni, Felipe, Maxi. To be honest, I never had a teammate that I didn't like. Okay. The locker room was so strong. Hector, Ethan, like I always got along with them all. Stuber, like there was not one player you're like, I like this guy's annoying, there wasn't. I don't think I've had that yet.
Okay.
Of course, there's moments where you get mad at teammates and training and games and stuff, but we're all friends, we're all teammates, and you forgive things right away.
Real quick, you mentioned Emmy, right, being one of your favorite teammates. Of all the other names that you mentioned, recently he just got picked up by Club Leon. They're getting ready for the Club World Cup. I mean, for us, it came a little bit as a shock because he was bought out here from Austin FC. His contract was bought out. I mean, how did you take it when you saw that Leon?
I literally found out like yesterday, so I don't really know much of it. I was like, wow, really? Yeah. But like I said, I always wish the best for everybody. To me, I know a lot of people had bad thoughts about him, but in training, he was an unbelievable player. And I think some players don't fit the system or don't get adapted here well. So maybe he goes somewhere else and he does well.
He kills it, yeah.
Yeah, it's look at Pochettino. Like, he was here and he wasn't doing well, and he goes to Brazil and he's killing it. So
we have a little bit of a joke amongst us. We're like, hey, how do you have to leave Austin FC to win a chip? You know what I'm saying? Because there's been players that have even Ronnie Redes with Olympia. He got a chip.
But that's where I'm going to. Like, I think you have to fit the system. You have to be adapted. Look at Johan.
Johan is killing it with San Lorenzo.
He's one of the best defenders right now in the league.
The city loves him too.
So I, as crazy as it sounds, I think you just have to fit for the system, and the team has to want you to be there. And maybe Emmy does better over there. So and I'm always hoping the best for everybody. I have nothing against anyone, and as a player, I hope everybody wants the best for me, just like I want the best for them.
100%. Alex?
You just mentioned Drusy, and you were with him his best season yet with Austin FC, right, in 2022. He was MVP candidate. And now you're with Push, right, who is, amazing player. He's massive for the Galaxy. They are both stars. How does it feel to play alongside a teammate like that? And what are the difference between those two, Drusy and Push, that you can highlight?
Wow, they're two amazing players.
Those are cracks.
It's kind of a hard one, but they play two different styles. So that's the one thing that you can take.
Yeah.
And Ricky is one player that can make something out of nothing. He's so light, like he jumps around. Like sometimes you look at him, you're like, what is he doing? But he just dribbles around. He wants the ball from everywhere. Whereas Drusy can anything inside the 18 around the box. He's unbelievable. So playing with them both, when I was here in Austin playing with Drusy, we understood each other by just looking at each other. We didn't even have to like talk or anything. So it worked out well. With Ricky, sometimes it's hard to read the way he plays because the things he does. Which is kind of crazy. Like I'm telling you, there's sometimes where there's an easy pass, and he'll cut someone and cut again, and it's just different. So you kind of have to like really get to know him well and read him really well. Where sometimes you might not even get the ball but then you're just staring. You're like, wow, this guy just did that.
And thinking about being with both in different teams and being in MLS for so long, do you think that a team, a champion, needs a player like that for sure? Or can there be a more, let's say, a more teamwork effort rather than have just one individual who will pull something out of nothing?
I don't think there's one player that can win everything. I think you need a team, and sure, you do need a goal scorer, you need a playmaker. Of course, you need those things. But at the end of the day, like I don't think people understand how much the defense. How much work they do, because at the end of the day, when you look at some of the teams, when the three up top aren't coming down and you're playing down a man or two down, it's hard. And I think that's where my mindset goes, where I was telling you about numbers and goals and stuff, where in my mind, if I have to defend, I'll defend. I don't care. But sometimes I look and I'm like, wow, I can't get there. I can't go attack. And I think that's where people are like, Diego doesn't get shots, Diego doesn't get assists, but you don't see the defensive work that I've been putting, which to me, I think that's one thing that teams see in me, and they're like, okay, you know what, I can bring this kind of player in because he'll put in the work. He'll put in the what other players might not do.
Getting back is massive. I mean, me that I play center back, if a midfielder or a forward doesn't want to drop back, dude, I get heated. I'm like, bro, come on, man. Why are you doing this to us? You know what I'm saying? But it's just Sunday league
It's easy
stuff.
to go forward.
It's easy to go forward.
It's hard to come back.
It's hard to come back. Even when I go up for like a corner, I know that I gotta sprint back. Even like, and then and whenever the player takes the corner and it goes right to the keeper's hands, that pisses me off so much. I'm like, bro, now I gotta sprint back for no reason. Right?
In the Media Cup game, that at some point that we were switching off, go wherever that there's help that people need help. And at some point, they put me in the wing, And it's like, okay, I guess I have to sprint now on the wing, and then going back to defend. It killed me.
They let us play in the
At the stadium, I saw.
at the Cup. It
How
was
was
awesome. It was insane. Him and I, we kind of like had a moment where when we stepped on the pitch, we were like, dude, this feels like we're stepping on a cloud.
Mm-hmm.
That field is insane. It was beyond my
So soft, though.
wildest
Amazing.
expectations. It was insane. And then, I mean, Q2 for me, it's not a huge stadium. Obviously, it's 20,000. But the way that it was built, when I was on the pitch and I looked up, I felt like it just kept going up and up and up. No. And then I sat there, I stood there and I thought about it. I was like, the stadium is empty right now, and I'm mesmerized by it. Imagine 22,000 people screaming their lungs out and the lights turn green. I mean, that must have been such a ride or thrill for players.
I think everybody in the league knows how the atmosphere, how amazing it is here in Austin. I don't think there's a team that wants to come play here because of how loud it is and what kind of a party it is. But I think you also need results for it to keep it that way every game and keep people happy. Because I've seen it. You guys are there no matter if we lose, we win, we tie, whatever it is, you guys are still there. But if the results are there, that stadium will get even
100%.
more popping.
100%. I think that's something that it's clear. I mean, as long as the results are there, the fan base at Q2 is insane. Like it can become a fortress, but there's people that will go to games for a season and then they get off the boat. You know what I'm saying? You got to try to maintain them, especially in this league when you come in as like a new team. That's one of the biggest challenges is keeping people in that seat. But you got to give them a good product. And that's what a lot of Austin FC fans have been asking them for a long time. And they were very confused why they let Mr. Fagundez go. You know what I'm saying?
But I think like you said, the fortress part. This year we didn't lose one game at home.
Yeah.
So
that's a crazy stat.
If you do that every year and then you get, I want to say 3 or 4 games away you win, you make playoffs every year.
That's the recipe.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy to think it should be easy in your mind. You're like, all right, you can tie 3-4 games at home, but if you win every other game and you're gonna win 2 or 3 away, you make playoffs.
I wanted to ask you, was there any game at home where the final whistle blew, y'all ended up winning the game, right? Or not losing the game, where y'all went into the locker room and y'all looked around and you're like, we got away with this one? Was there any close calls
for sure.
to that record? Like, which one was the game that you have in mind?
I don't know if we thought about that, but I think El Tráfico losing 2-0.
Oh, yeah.
2-0 at half. Like, what's going on? The first 15 minutes, I think we were losing 2-0. And, like, I remember we go in the locker room, we're like, we gotta step it up. But there's not one person when you looked around the locker room, and you can see it on film when they showed, there's not one person that has their head down and, like, looks sad or mad. It was, you know what? We got this. And we stepped it up. Yeah. And it was a crazy comeback, and it was insane. It was a party, though.
I know, we kind of know that Ricky Puig is probably one of maybe your favorite teammates. The celebrations after winning the MLS Cup were legendary. See, I think you were pushing him around in the car, right? I mean, the guy had a torn ACL at the time, right? He gave the assist to go to the final, right, with the messed up ACL. But other players, right, like Gabriel Peck, he won Newcomer of the Year. What can you say about his like work ethic that made him stand out? Like, what was it like sharing a locker room with that guy?
No, I think he was probably our best player this year. No offense to Ricky or anything, but I think Gabriel Peck, like when you really needed someone to step up, he did. He was scoring goals, and but you can say about the 3 up top between Ricky, Pencil, and Peck and Jovic. Actually, you can add a 4th. Like. Yeah. Having 4 players, 10 goals, 10 assists is huge.
I
agree. I think I saw I think MLS just posted it when Miguel and did it in
Producers
in Atlanta. They just posted it. They had 64
Miguel
goals. Almiron and
let's see if we can pull it up.
They had 64 goals, and then Gabriel Peck and Ricky had 65 last year.
In between them two.
Wow. Okay. So it's like you have 2 players, 65 contributions. It's huge. And now if you add the other 2, like how many contributions they have is insane.
Exactly. I agree. That's pretty sick.
It's pretty sick to see that. But
another player that I wanted to ask about, based on your teammates, is Gaston Brugman. He was traded right to Nashville. Stellar season with the Galaxy. You know, you guys win the chip. Couple days later, everybody gets the news that he's being sent off. I mean, did it kind of give you a little bit of like, did it bring back memories of when you were involved with like a crazy trade like that? And how was it seeing it from your point of view at that time? You know, kind of seeing it happen to somebody else. You know, and you had already been through something like that.
It's tough because when I thought about it, I was like, all right, we just won a MLS Cup. He was the MVP of the final, the MVP. They get rid of him. It's a tough one, and I know when I talked to him, he just didn't understand and stuff. But at the same time, it's like I told you right before the show. One day you're here, one day you're not.
Yeah.
We don't know what's gonna happen, and that's why you need to enjoy every moment that you have, and enjoy the memories with friends and teammates, because today you could be here, tomorrow you can be at another team playing against them, and we're gonna lose a good one for sure. But I know he'll do well in Nashville, and
100%.
we'll always be talking and stuff, and we kind of talked about it, how things work when you get traded and stuff, and
so you kind of helped them through a little bit, you know.
Yeah, we talked a little bit, but at the end of the day, the league does a really good job to
with
help
MLS PA.
Yeah, they do a really good job to help you sort everything out.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but whenever the trade happened, when you got sent to the Galaxy, Ethan Finley helped you out a little bit. Did he? Well, he was with the MLSP at the time. Did he
was
do
with
anything?
the MSPA. I think I asked him a couple things about who do I reach out to and stuff, and he did. Everybody, whoever's involved with the PA, they're on everything. Like the other day, I had to ask about something about the PA, and I asked McCarthy, and the first thing he said, he goes, "Yep, boom," and literally 3 minutes later, I got my answer. So players that work with them, they're huge for us because they take care of us.
Incredible resource.
It
cool.
is.
That's cool.
They really do take care of us.
I wanted to ask something that also happened a few days after you won the MLS Cup, and it's a video that you posted in your story.
Oh,
I knew someone was going to ask this.
Clip.
Yeah, because people took offense.
People took offense, which I wasn't trying to do it offense.
We wanted to ask you so you could clear it up, because people are going to say this and that, but we want to know from you.
Let's be honest. When people post, I repost it.
100%.
And I didn't think about it like that it was going to be offensive, but in a way, maybe the fans took it offensive, but in a way, I thought about it. That was like, all right, well, they didn't want me, but now I'm here. So that's the way I took it. It wasn't like I was trying to be like, yeah, you know what, F you guys, you know.
What I said because I got bombarded with on Instagram or on Twitter.
Yeah, no, I saw videos. People were, I got messages, people like saying you're ungrateful. I'm like, I have a tattoo of it.
Exactly.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, no.
And what I was telling folks to try to calm the situation, I was like, there's no way Fagundez would ever send a shot to the fan base. There's no way. There's no way. This is being taken out of context. This is probably just like you said right now. I was traded. They didn't want me, but I think maybe people got tied up too much with the lyrics of the song. And
to be honest, I don't even know what song it was.
You didn't make the video. You just shared it, right?
Exactly, I shared it.
Somebody else made it.
If you took a picture right now and you tagged me, I would share it.
Yeah.
And then maybe someone would be like, "Oh, look at it."
Yeah. So clarify, it's taken out of context.
Yeah, it's taken out of context. Like,
folks
come on,
gotta chill.
I have a tattoo of Austin.
People look. This is the fans.
But this is what I'm saying. I think people
look too much into it.
They need something.
Too much into it, and like, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I just got traded and I went to another team and okay, I win it. But I think people are like, oh, you hate us and this and that. Why would I hate? Like, it's a team that gave me a lot, the community. Like, I come back to Austin. If I hated it that much, why would I come back, you know? But I knew that question was going to happen. And if you guys didn't ask, I was actually going to bring that up. Don't worry. I had it already in my mind.
I had it in the notes, and Brian was all like, you sure you want to ask him that?
Yeah,
I was like, bro, yeah, I need the...
Trust me,
Diego wants to clarify.
I'm not... Yes, you know, I'm not one to hide behind doors. And I said it when I was playing. When results didn't go our way, I was sometimes had to go to press conferences and talk. Yeah. And I'm not one of those that I'm going to hide. Like, I'm going to speak the truth. I'm going to speak my mind. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. If you like it, okay. But you can't make everybody happy.
Right now that we're on the topic, one of the members of the podcast, Ozzy, you know, he had his opinion on it. And then I told him, I was like, bro, you're talking about the trade, you're talking about the player as if he initiated the exit, as if he wanted to leave. And I was like, bro, I mean, if you're gonna have an opinion on something, you gotta look at the facts, mate.
I think that's the one thing that it was kind of like it all happened so fast that I couldn't even like express myself, couldn't even like have a talk with anybody because I think people think that I wanted to leave.
People think you wanted to leave, yeah. And I'm like, you guys,
there was no
you guys are
choice.
delusional.
If I had this and I said, hey, you have to leave, you got traded. He has to take it. There's a no. He can't say no. He has to take it.
It's not Squid Games. We don't get a choice.
Literally, you don't have a choice. Just he has to take it, and I had to leave. And it literally, I get the call. 3 days later, they wanted me on the plane, and I had an 8-day-old baby, and literally 3 days later, I had to leave, and that's how it works.
Yep.
It's not that you get to choose, you get to say anything. It's you have to go.
That's the battle I've been fighting. I've been trying to explain to people. You guys think that he wanted to leave? No, he wanted to stay, mate. And I appreciate you saying
and
that.
I gotta say, I leave, and like, okay, I a lot of people were mad, blah blah blah, and I get that, but then like the following year, I'm still getting blamed because the team wasn't doing well, and I'm like, what's going on?
I hate to say it, but
and like, don't get me wrong, like when it hurt me too because I have teammates and friends there, and like, you think I wanted people? No, of course not. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm still getting blamed, and I keep people bring me up still.
That's how much of an impact you made.
Alex and I were actually talking about it as we were preparing for the show. There was a conversation that came up last week from a show where they mentioned how Fagúndez came into 2023 unfit, and I was like, we're still talking about that that situation. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, you're gone, and people are still bringing you up with the negative side of things. But reality is that you were part of a lot of highlights with this team, a lot of them, mostly all of them.
At the end of the day, people are gonna have. I think maybe this year too, they might bring my name up. Who knows? But. I just let it. I have some receipts, don't worry, from people that send things to me. And like there was one, I think last year, someone tweeted, Fagundez got traded and they're in like 13th place and we're in 12th or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And I was like, why are you coming at me? I have nothing to do with it. Like, why the teams are here. And then I was literally, after I won MLS Cup, I was going to send it, and I was like, I don't need this in my life.
You were on a whole other level at that point. Yeah.
Why even do that? And I don't want, like, I remember you guys did the last show, and you guys were like, he can say whatever because he's a champion. That's not true. Like, to me, like I said, I waited this long, and of course I'm going to enjoy every moment. Yeah. But like I said, I wanted to be a champion because the day I retire, having numbers, records, whatever, doesn't mean anything unless you win it all.
It's true.
Yeah.
Now, before we do get out of here, mate, I want to ask just a couple of Discord questions that we have here from the Patreon members. The first one here is from Shannon Hudson. Shout out to my G. He says, the Galaxy just won MLS Cup. What's the difference in culture and personnel between a team like that and a team like Austin FC?
Oof. No, I don't.
El Shannon.
It's, I think, to be honest, I think it's more of what kind of team you want to be. And I think the Galaxy are already established and they know what kind of team because of how long they've been. Whereas Austin, we've only been here, 4 years, 3 years?
It's a brand new team.
It's a new team.
It's a brand new team. It's hard to, you first have to establish and get to know what kind of team you want to be. And I think the coaching changes also don't help. Like some players have to get adjusted to that. So I think that has part of it, and then at the end of the day, it's winning home games. I think is a huge part.
Okay, I'm gonna read one here from Nino, and Alex, you can take some. Nino Jaimes, he says, "Who's the craziest teammate you've ever had?"
Oh, Felipe.
Felipe? No way. Felipe? Okay, I did not expect that one.
He's the craziest, but I love this guy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the craziest, but I love him.
And
remember
on
when
the general,
he came on when they were playing Miami, and he was just on Messi's face and talking to everybody. He's just, he was to Messi.
So Felipe is actually a player that you want him on your team because if he's against you, you just want to fight with him because he just gets on your nerves. Yeah. Even in training, he's like that. But like I said, on your team, he's the best teammate to have. He's all about love and this. And you look at him, you're like, you're all about love. You get in the game and you transform into someone else. No, it's.
I want to answer a executive Patreon question of mine.
Okay.
Something I didn't mention earlier. Austin FC just signed Ilya Sanchez. Is a guy that's been in this league for a while. You've been in this league for even longer than him. I mean, how do you think he's going to do with Austin?
I think he'll do well. It's definitely going to be different because when you have some young players like Danny Pereira playing there and then Owen, and now you bring Ellie, it's what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, who's going to be playing? What kind of style are you going to be playing? So it's going to be different. It's going to be, I think it's something that they're going to have to get adjusted to and figure out, like I said, what kind of team you want to be. But as a player, I think he's top.
Okay. So Austin fans need to be, they need to chill out and realize that the midfield is going to be okay.
I think people look at age and just throw it out the door.
That's the main thing.
I think that's the one thing. But I think you need to look at. I think you need to watch the player in games to really figure out. Okay, you know what? Is he good? At the end of the day, he could have a good year, or he could not. It's literally up to the player and it's up to the team. But I think that's the one thing people who don't watch soccer, they might just look at stats and age and stuff and
The
like,
final result.
Yeah, this guy's bad. But if you watch him in games, he's good. He's a good player.
It's true. Alex?
Brad asks us, he wants to know, as an opposing team, can you hear the supporters at Q2 in the locker room? And does the noise play a big part in communication as an opposing player? If it did, as an Austin player, did you just get used to it?
So for me personally, you don't hear in the locker room. You don't hear anything. It's soundproof. So
Makes sense.
when you're in the stadium playing, when I play with the Galaxy, it's hard to communicate. Even when we were in Austin, it's hard to communicate with each other already. But at the same time, when I go in the game, to me, it all zones out. Like, I focus on the game, but then when things happen, they pop, and it's like, and you just hear everything. So it's like, it's moments. Like
when you were to take a corner.
When I wanted to hype everybody up, my ears would open up. It's like, let's go. And I think that's how everybody feels. At the end of the day, you need to focus on the game and realize what it's there. But there's moments where you could hear the sound. And you're like, all right, we got to put more pressure on here. Let's go.
That's insane. Danny Benz, he asked, what were your go-to spots to eat in Austin? And or what are your go-to spots to go to eat here in Austin? And what other sports do you watch besides soccer? And what teams do you support?
Well, I'll do the sports first. I do like football, basketball.
Okay.
I like hockey a lot too.
Do you like the NCAA more or the NFL?
No, NFL.
The NFL?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
some people love college football.
No, don't get me wrong. I'll go home and I watch college football, college basketball. I watch all the time too.
March Madness.
I think I like sports. But if I'm gonna, what I really enjoy is going to either a Lakers game, Clippers game. Like,
you were just at a Lakers game recently.
Yeah, with my son, I took him.
They shouted you out on their story.
Yeah,
they did. I saw that. So they said, "Welcome, champ." Right?
Yeah,
I did that. I saw that.
I took my son, and we had nice seats. He was all happy because of LeBron and stuff.
If I was in LA, I'd be checking out Lakers games 100%.
You have to go. You have to go to that. You have to go to a Kings game, a hockey game as well. I feel like there's so much to do. But going back to your question, for food, I'm trying to think of good. Where do I usually go? Besides my house.
There's one spot I feel like all the Austin FC players like to go to. There's a restaurant called Red Ash.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody went to that one.
I think Red Ash, everybody knows of it, and it's one of the best restaurants. So it's like, it's easy for us to get reservations there and stuff. So I think that's why everybody goes. But the food is unbelievable already. But Perry's would be another one that I like.
Yeah.
I still have not gone to Franklin's.
Okay.
That's on my list still that I need to go.
Okay.
I have a question for you that you just mentioned, all of the stuff that there is to do in LA. A lot of people often feel like we lose a lot of battles when it comes to signing players because they'd rather go to Miami, they'd rather go to LA.
Just lost one, Fafa.
Fafa, yeah. I mean, we know you love Austin FC, Austin, the city as it is. What do you think as a player, separating mind and heart, Austin has that can bring players in?
Oh,
But I think the number one thing that I enjoyed is that fans and people in the city know who you are. I go to LA. I'm one of how many people that are famous and how are playing sports. Which, if you want to be if you're a big player and you come to MLS, maybe you want to go to those cities because no one cares about you. You know, you're just another player. But then if you come to Austin, everybody's gonna know you. There's not one place that I can go to this day. I can say, and I can wear a hat, I can wear glasses, and people recognize me.
That's one thing that I always mentioned to the boys. I was like, I'm born and raised in Austin, so when Austin FC came here, like it had my attention 100%. And one thing that I said was, I've never seen the impact of an athlete in the city. Like there was one Halloween where there was like 3 or 4 Instagram posts where I saw little kids dress up as Fagundez. What was the Fagundez kit? Dye your hair whatever color, right? Pink, blonde, green. The tattoos with the permanent marker and Austin FC jersey and a trick or treat. I'm Diego Fagundez. I'd never seen that. Like Vince Young didn't have that impact.
Austin was the first time I've seen that get to that level.
I've
seen it a little bit, but not to that level. I think when I was younger, I had the mohawk, so kids easy put a mohawk. But when I got here, I think that was the one thing. Like I said, you can wear a hat, glasses, and everything. People still recognize me.
That's awesome. That's a really good question.
So from the Discord, Bunsen Ben asks, beyond skill, what has Marco Reus added to the Galaxy Rocket Room, and have you learned anything from him?
He can hit free kicks, that's for sure. Nah, the guy is just unbelievable. Just like as a human being, like take away the soccer, take away the fame, who he is, just take all away of that. He's literally a regular person that is all about love, jokes around. He'll come and slap you in the head. Like he's just one of those people that you want to have in the locker room. You can probably see it sometimes when we score and we go celebrate. He'll come and slap someone in the back. His personality is just so nice. And we play Call of Duty all the time together. Like this guy is, to me, it's kind of crazy because like I look at him of how big of a player he is, but now he's just another one. Like he's another me, and I call him my twin because my older brother. You know. We kind of go to the same story if you think about it, because 10 years in New England, I didn't win anything. He was 10 years. Dortmund didn't win anything. He leaves. They win. First time. It's kind of like
the parallels.
So like we both looked at each other after the final and we're like, hey, we just won.
That's crazy.
We got ours.
We got ours already.
That's insane. Yeah, because I remember when I found out that stat, like that was his first league title. Yeah. Marco Reus.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to think that though.
Because he also missed the World Cup because of injury.
The
2014. Yeah, he would have won that World Cup.
He lost the Champions League final to Bayern at one point in time in his career.
To Madrid.
Most recently.
You start looking at those stats and you're like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned how y'all played Call of Duty. Another question that somebody asked here, I forget who asked it, but I know that they did. Who's the best Call of Duty player you ever played against or with? Who is the best? I know Danny got to rank up there.
Danny got a reputation.
I think if I have to put, it's me, Danny, and Drusi. We're all pretty good.
Okay.
We can make a good squad.
Drusi too?
Carrying players?
Drusi can play.
Does your back ever hurt because of carrying everybody?
All my friends.
All the time?
All my boys, yeah.
Bro, somebody got to go to the chiropractor, bro. His back be hurting.
My back's hurting from the shit right here. Hey, FIFA, I'll sit there because I can't say anything about FIFA. I can play, but I'm not that good.
Most of us got PS5s, and we started playing pro clubs. Hey. And it's stressful. It's very stressful.
I played with some of the Galaxy fans. Wow, some of these guys are good, and here I am. I'm like, yeah, you know. And I played a tournament. They invited me for one game, and I thought it was just like a regular game, like for having fun. No. They go, no, hey, it's a tournament. We gotta win. I'm like, oh, okay, let me step it up.
No way. Let's see. We have here one. Where's it at?
Discord helps.
Discord questions. Phil, he says, you've had an opportunity to play under different coaching styles, including Josh Wolf here at Austin FC and now Greg Vanney. What are the main differences in their approaches to the game, and how have those differences impacted your development as a player?
I gotta think about this real quick because
El Feo.
I think there's just two different styles of coaching. I think with Vanny, I'll start off with Vanny. I think him coming from Toronto, being already in an MLS Cup, and he's lived all that. He's had good players and top players that had a voice in the locker room that helped a lot. So I think he doesn't have to be the one to say anything to people. I think there's players that already stepped up and said it. Whereas here, I think if we didn't do that, it would be mostly the coaching staff or Davey Arnold. I know he was one of the ones that when we were not doing well, he was the number one person that was passionate about it, and he would get mad. And
bro, you know what I've been through the past couple of months trying to defend Davey Arnold, bro?
Don't get me wrong. I love Davey, but
I've lost sleep.
It's
I've lost sleep defending Davey Arnold.
The guy's unreal. Like the passion he shows, and when he started yelling, his veins, all I could see his veins cut. Like he really gets it because he was a player, so he knows what it's like. And I think that's when you don't. If people think that we like to lose, we don't like to lose. No one likes to lose. No one likes to lose in FIFA. Why would we want to lose in a game? Think about that.
Yeah.
And it's not like we wake up today and say, "Oh yeah, I want to lose a game." You don't go to work and say, "Oh, I'm going to lose my job." No, it's not. I think that's what people think that. We go out there and we perform, and sometimes it doesn't go our way. Just like people go to work, but we get hated on. But if your boss started firing you or doing this, you wouldn't have a job. And I think that's where people don't see. Yeah, it's easy. Oh, sit them on the bench. Oh, kick them out. Fly them out there. If you're at work, they're not going to just kick you out or fire you unless you do something bad. And I feel like that's where I get mad sometimes when I see comments like that. Like,
I see.
Is there anything that you would add to the culture here?
To add to the culture?
Not change anything. Just
add. Because I know we're loud. I know we're passionate, but anything that you would add that you have maybe seen in other stadiums, against LAFC or in the Galaxy or from New England, something that you would add to the culture.
Can I say something? Maybe it'll help spin the wheels. Like for Fagu, he was. Correct me if I'm wrong, but to this day, he's the only player that has a specific chant, right? Yeah. Oh, right. Diego has his own chant at Q2. I want more player specific chants. You know what I'm saying? I want more chants. I've heard a lot of time that the chants are hard to follow or whatnot. I feel like if we could bring in the European, like the EPL culture of chants to the MLS, that'd be really cool. Like they have a really easy way of making new chants or whatnot. Like more player-specific chants. That's just my addition to the culture.
I agree.
I think having two sides behind both goals would be
okay. So have the north end
and the south end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because if you think about it, like no one wants to be defending that side.
True.
So imagine if you had both sides.
I like that take.
Yeah, I've always argued for the entire stadium to chant, not just the south end.
Yeah. Well, I think that's another thing. Like I know in LA they do it like the whole stadium gets involved, and there's other stadiums that do it too. Yeah. Kansas City does it, Philadelphia does it. So I think that's one thing. But like I said, Austin's so new that it's things that you can't just go boom and throw everything all in one year. It's still building. It's a learning process, the building process, exactly.
It's still building. You have any other questions that you got? Well,
just as we're talking about this, the south end. My question is, you as a player, there has been times and people bring it up when maybe we get scored on, and it just so happens that at that moment is the exact moment of the song that Lamurk is playing where they throw water at each other. So it looks like we're celebrating a goal against us. Do you guys see that or feel that, or is it like why is this loud noise when we are being scored on?
People always talk about that.
Yeah, people always talk about that. But that's the thing. I feel like we don't really notice it because we're in the field, but the people from the outside see it.
Yeah.
And I think the Galaxy, the way they did it right before I even got there and stuff, they put pressure on.
Oh yeah,
they put a lot of pressure.
Oh yeah. Bali always talks about that. And fans from LA tell us.
Don't get me wrong. When we were here and we weren't doing well, I was surprised sometimes that you guys were still yelling because I know if I was mad, I couldn't imagine how you guys were feeling.
It was tough. There was one side that was like, "Hey, why are we chanting?" And there was another side was like, "We got to keep chanting to help the guys push forward." But yeah, you're right. Like there was
anywhere else, maybe they would either be swears at us or whatever. They were throwing stuff at us.
Yeah. I mean, there was a plane. right?
Yeah, there was a lot.
There was a lot of.
But also, it's kind of hard because
demonstrations.
you're saying like they put pressure, and pressure can be good for you guys to to step it up. But also, when we interviewed Diego Rubio, and he said, like put that pressure on us outside of those 90 minutes.
Yeah.
In those 90 minutes, we want all of you support because that's what
Well,
we need.
that's what I'm saying. I think in the game, it's like I said right there. We don't like to lose. We don't want to go lose. So it's like we're trying to give it our all, and maybe results aren't going our way. But now, if you guys are putting pressure while you guys are in the stands for us because we're not performing, what does that do? Now we're kind of like, are we really one or are we two?
Yeah.
But then how would you put pressure outside? So it's like a mind game that you.
Yeah.
I guess to close out the pod, to kind of wrap it up, mate, I wanted to ask you, what message do you have to the people in Austin that still support you, that followed you this season? Because some folks, came on, they were like, why are you still paying attention to Diego Fagundez? He doesn't play for us anymore. But there's people out here in Austin that still follow you very, very closely. There's people here that are up to date with what you do. I mean, what message do you have to those folks that support you?
No, to be honest, to thank them because I think when I got here, I gave it my all. I bled, I sweat, I had tears with this jersey, and it's something that I think people don't understand. And I think, to be honest, the people that are saying not to talk about me are the newest people that don't really, maybe haven't been here since the beginning. So that's why when I see the negative, I let it go. It doesn't hurt me. At the end of the day, those negative things can make you stronger. It can make you a better player. And the people that love me, I still love you back. And like I said, Austin's still my home. And someday maybe I'll come back. But right now I'm with the Galaxy, and I have to keep doing everything I can to do well with them and give it my all.
Diego, thank you for your time. Thank you for everything that you did for Austin
thank
FC.
you. Appreciate it.
What
Thank you
you
very
still
much.
what you still continue to do for the city where I'm born, where I'm from, where I always tell these guys where I'm probably gonna die. You know what I'm saying? So just appreciate you, brother.
No, of course.
Thank you
No,
for your
thank
time. Thank you. Alex?
No, just to appreciate again. Thank you for coming, for your time. It was a goal to have you here after so long, after trying. We're glad that you finally could come to the podcast here, and we're very happy that you did. I think this pod will clarify a lot of things for a lot of people too. But we are excited to have you, especially as an MLS champion, back in Austin and in this podcast.
No, I appreciate it. I want everybody to know I didn't come here just because I wanted to clarify things. I got invited, and it fit. And sure, I'll talk. But at the end of the day, shout out to Bali. I love
Shout
Bali.
out, shout out to Bali. All right. Oh, just one more question. Did you, whenever you were here with Austin, you we're watching TV, fan reactions,
I have, yeah.
Top Flight?
I have.
All right. That's all I wanted
A
to
bunch
know.
of times.
That's all I wanted to know.
And when some people talk bad, I add them into that list.
All right. Hey, Top Flight Podcast. Shout out to Diego Fagúndez,
Yeah, he's not here.
MLS Cup champion. We'll see you soon, guys. Ciao.